Hello everybody, I'm Rebecca here at Why Mermaids, because that's my name, and I'm here today to do the Leonardo DiCaprio book tag. This tag was actually created by Ginger Reads Laney over on her channel. I'll put a link down at the bottom so you can check it out. The original tag, and I'm going to see if I can do it justice with one of my favorite actors of all time. I just had to do it, and she tagged everybody, so I consider myself tagged. So I'm doing the Leonardo DiCaprio tag. Question 1 is for Growing Pains, which if you haven't seen it, you should go somehow watch it because it was really great to see young little Leo. And the question that goes along with this is, what book did you read before it was popular, before anybody else read it? So I don't actually know if I read it before anybody else, because I kind of just started watching booktube videos and things like that, but I've seen it around a lot lately with people reviewing it, so I'm going to say that yes, I did read it before everybody else, even though I'm not sure if I actually have. And that book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It's amazing, and I love it, and I'm going to own it, even though it is paperback, so obviously I didn't read it when it was new. I don't buy books when they're new very often. It's expensive. For those who don't follow celebrity culture and celebrity news, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire are like BFFs. I'm not really sure why. I'm not a big fan of Tobey, but you know, whatever. Everybody has their person, I guess. I don't know. And Tobey is Leo's. So for the book version of this, what are your book best friends? Your favorite book best friends? And so I'm trying to do this tag, by the way, without any Harry Potter. So you can just assume that every answer to this question is probably Harry Potter or somebody from Harry Potter, but because that's boring and stale, I'm gonna just not do Harry Potter, because obviously the trio would be my answer here. So I'm not gonna do that. And instead, I'm going to go with 2 different books because I couldn't really decide. So one of them is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, because I want to be part of the Lost Boys. I want to go fight pirates every day, and like play all the time, because that'd be really cool. So yeah, sign me up for Neverland. Forget the fact that like Peter kills them when they get too old. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. I just want to play in Neverland with Peter and the pirates. The other one that I really liked, and this was more of a realistic reason, just because of the way that they're there for him, and that is Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This is such a great story of friendship and acceptance and things like that, especially for if you're going through high school. And if I could teach it to high schoolers, I would, but it is not approved because there are some language things and some issues and some, it goes pretty deep there for a while. But they are so kind to him and they just accept him regardless of that, and they that friendship is something that you don't always find. So I really liked that friendship, and I find it very realistic. So that's why I chose this for favorite book, best friends. The next question is about Leo and Kate. And we all know that even though Kate is like married and has kids and Leo dates all those Victoria's Secret models all the time, we really know that they have like this love affair that's like epic, and we're just waiting for them to actually admit it to everybody because duh, we've all seen it since Titanic. They have too. I bet they're like, yeah. So the question is your favorite OTP. And again, no Harry Potter here. None of that. And I haven't really been a fan of the recent, like, YA ones because I don't find them really all that, I don't know, great. And I like to go back to the classics when it comes to romance and relationships that I would actually want, relationship goals. So I went with Anne of Green Gables. It's kind of falling apart. It's bad, with Anne and Gilbert, because their relationship is more real, and it is more similar to what most people I feel like actually go through, and it's just, I don't know, I really love Anne of Green Gables. I read it at a really great time of my life that I just really connected with Anne. It's right when I started teaching, and I just love Gilbert more than I love Darcy or anybody else, so Anne and Gilbert is my OTP. Number 4 is Titanic, which was Leo's kind of big break, besides Romeo and Juliet, which happened about the same time. And if you've seen Titanic, then you know it just makes you cry. Like, the entire second movie, disc, whatever it is, makes you cry. It's tears. So what book always makes you cry? So for this one, for what makes me cry, it's gotta be Little Women, because again, no Deathly Hallows, I'm not doing that. So I'm going with Little Women because there's like that scene in Friends when Joey is reading Little Women and Rachel is reading It, I think, by Stephen King, and because they've traded books, and when Joey gets scared of It, he puts it in the freezer, and so he's reading Little Women because Rachel told him to, and he's starting to cry because it's an emotional book, and she says, do you want to put it in the freezer? And he goes, mm-hmm. And that's how I feel when I read that book too. So I'm with you, Joey. You and me, freezer. Leo always tends to work with Martin Scorsese. He's Martin's new muse. They've worked in The Departed together and Gangs of New York. It's pretty much every Scorsese movie these days is always a Leo movie, which is fun because I like them both. So it's what author will you always buy their books? And I will always buy, again, no Harry Potter. I am really on a big Red Rising Golden Sun kick, if you haven't been able to tell that so far. So Pierce Brown has only published those 2 books, but I will probably buy everything he publishes from now on. And I also really like Hugh Howey, who wrote The Wool, or the Silo Saga. Most of his books you buy online. They don't actually do traditional publications of them, except for I do have Wool. And I think that Shift got published, but I don't think that Dust did. I don't think that Sand did. So those are some of his books that you buy them online on Kindle, and they're fairly cheap. And so because he's an independent publisher, I like to support that, and I like to support him since I like his writing. So I will buy his works. Leo he has a type. He's got a type, and that's the model. So it's what type of book will you always come back to? And for me, it's fantasy. I've always loved fantasy books. Again, it started with like Animorphs when I was a kid, and Harry Potter, obviously, and it's kind of morphed. And so while I read a little bit of this and a little bit of that, it always really does come back to me, to fantasy and science fiction, because those are just my favorite books. Almost all of them tend to fall into that genre. So that's where I end up always going. Last year, I think it was, or the year before, there was that fun meme of Leonardo DiCaprio just strolling along the set from Wolf of Wall Street, and it became a meme, the happy Leo meme. So, what character makes you smile? I really like snarky characters. They always make me smile because they make me laugh. So, I just really I think they're really fun. To read too, and then the characters that have something going on behind it. It's just a really fun character to read, and I really enjoy doing that. So one that comes off the top of my head, not really because I have it planned because I have a book over here. But the character that I'm thinking of is Johanna Mason from The Hunger Games, or even Finnick, because he's got that little twinkle. They just make me laugh, and so they make me smile, and so I really enjoy that. If you've noticed, a lot of the characters that Leo plays are very similar in a lot of ways, but also in the fact that they're complex. And so the next question is, which complex characters are your favorite complex characters? And I think complex characters are really the root of all really good literature, and good fiction are complex characters. That's kind of what makes it interesting to read. I love character stories. I love character growth and character development, and really getting to love those characters. I think that's a big part of it. So I really like when characters are well-rounded and dynamic. I also really like pretty much every character in Game of Thrones. I think they're all really well-written, and they're very dynamic and complex. If you look at Arya, she's got so much going on in her, and she's so young, and she wants to be good, but she does it in such an interesting way that ends up being bad. And I just love, all of his characters are like that. And so pretty much any character in The Song of Ice and Fire is complex and amazing, and I just love them all. But Jon Snow and Arya are the top of my list. And Tyrion. Why am I forgetting Tyrion? Tyrion's amazing. Tyrion needs to go towards the top of every list ever in the world. Underneath Harry Potter, of course. The next question is the final question, and it's Leonardo NoOSCAro, because he has never won an Oscar. And I actually have an article that got published in the school newspaper, which I run, so whatever. But it's also in my blog as well about why Leo did not deserve the Oscar for Wolf of Wall Street last year that everybody was so hyped up thinking he was going to win. I don't think he deserved it, and if you want to know why, I'll put a link down to that in the description. I love Leo, don't get me wrong. Like, you're going to hate on me now because I'm saying this. I do. I love him. I've loved him for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Like, oh my gosh. But I really don't actually think he's deserved an Oscar yet. But anyway, that's a whole another discussion video, and if you want, let me know, and I'll do a whole video on it. But the question is, what book doesn't get as much recognition as it should or as you'd like it to? And this wouldn't be a video if I didn't mention Red Rising, because, again, I've barely seen it on YouTube, and I just finished Golden Son. You can check on my rant. I'll also post a link down to that in below if you've read Golden Son. Don't watch it if you haven't read it yet, because it's pretty bad, and I was pretty, like, crazed at the time, so my face is all red and my hair is going crazy because I was very upset. Red Rising is definitely my book that I don't feel like gets enough recognition. So those are my Leonardo DiCaprio book tag questions and answers that I'm really excited about. I'm actually going to tag some people, woohoo! So I'm gonna call out Little Word Weaver, I'm gonna call out Penelope Borland, and I'm gonna call out Reads and Daydreams. So if you want to do the tag, you don't have to, but you should do the tag. And anybody else who really wants to do it as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Let me know your favorite Leo movies and books and things like that down below. And that's it for me. And I'll see you next time.